Alrighty, I'm using my laptop camera, which I can see looks quite distorted, but I hope it comes out better. There's going to be quite a few of you that will realize that you haven't heard from me in a very long time on my Twin Flame channel specifically. If you follow me on Facebook or anything, then yes, but even there, I've gotten very quiet in certain aspects of my life and in the area of my coaching and work, and also that I literally have probably not done a video since maybe the early part of 2017, where I've actually at least had a conversation about what I used to talk about quite a lot, and that's navigating the twin flame journey. And to be completely honest, because I work on different levels of stuff, and when people come to me for clearings and things like that, and updating their Akashic records and doing that for twins and stuff, and I worked with probably maybe close to 50 people, so I learned a lot individually, and I saw the challenges, and I saw the similarities, and I saw the beautiful hearts that were caring enough to want to really navigate the relationship in a better way in terms of the impact it was having on them and other people, and potentially how maybe obsessive we are about it, and when it's just seems painful and they're not coming forward and all of that. So I will be honest that there's aspects of my story that have really kicked my ass for the last year, and because I had got quite in depth with talking about it and bringing forward information and channeling and opening gateways and working with twins, I had a lot of strong experiences in those first, however long that was. And if you know my story, you would know that I consistently saw my twin. I saw him sometimes 8, 10, 12 times a day. And we had this tremendous amount of telepathy, and some of that, I've taken a lot of those videos down because it just got so personal for me. And then when it really shifted, and it shifted in about this time last year, interestingly enough, now that I'm saying this out loud, it would have been towards the end of February, and everything changed at the end of February, maybe in early March. I don't know exactly right now, but I have probably maybe seen him in total 12 times since. So, 4, 6, 8 times a day was absolutely normal. 10 times a day, even more sometimes. But 6, 8 times a day was completely. And I used to be on video, and I'd be doing videos, and people would watch me change because I would light up when he would go by the front of my house. And then sometimes he would go back and forth in front of my house, and he seemed to come during videos a lot. And he came for prayers, and he came through gateways. It was all very beautiful. And that whole story, I don't have a story about it at this time. I went to a different level of learning about it by not having him present, and by understanding that the journey had taken a completely different turn, and that going from that, repetitive experience to nothing at all, and then not knowing so much about it, and not knowing how he's doing, and not knowing what's going on, and all of the stuff that went through that. And then I've gone through my whole level of grieving and healing, and looking at it and trying to understand it from a different perspective. And sometimes I still do cards. I've done a lot of work. I've participated more in my own journey at getting people to help me through some of it. So rather than working with people in the last year, I've really done more where I've gone and worked with other twin teachers and healers and people that can bring us guidance forth. And there's some amazing people on the earth to do that. You just have to be cautious about where you're going for that. And that, are you being driven by your heart or by your ego? And because if you're being driven by your ego, you will find the right person and fit to either A, tell you that and you may not like it, to hear it, or they will actually come and serve your ego, and they'll tell you what you want to hear. So when you do go ask for guidance, ask, am I going to seek this guidance from my heart to help me understand something, or am I going to seek it from that real third dimensional place of, exactly what's going to happen, who's going to come, is this my twin, and all of that stuff. Because in my own experience, I don't know how you, let me say this a little bit differently. In my own experience, and from working with the people that I have worked with, and then being part of communities, and then going into my whole level of healing that I just told you about, I've had a lot of experiences, conversations in this area in the last few years, and there's a lot of people that are being driven by the story of the fantasy of the twin versus the reality of the twin, because it's not for the faint of heart. And when you really actually embody that experience is taking place, and you have that level of connection to somebody, and you feel the physicality of you being one, and all of those things, and then how the story may unfold for you, and what's keeping you separate, and how much of it is ego, and how much of it is heart, how much of it is karmic relationships that we're healing, how much of it is agreements that they have to complete, and we're just not liking that part, and then how much of it are we spending on focusing on them and not looking inside of our own journey at all. And that's when it'll get more painful over time, because what happens is, when you're not looking at yourself in the story, what is my part of this story about having a twin that's not coming forward, instead of making it about them not coming forward, and asking it from a place of what is keeping him from me still, or she from me still, and what part do I need to heal that part. And we look at ourselves. As long as we're looking outside of ourselves, I can tell you from personal experience, from working with other people, from seeing myself go to a place like this, and I just have the ability to get myself back and ask these kinds of questions, because this is really in part what I do. And so when you get back and you're willing to ask yourself those questions, and you realize, I can tell you, the people that are resisting the journey the most, and the ones who really aren't looking at themselves, the story, in my experience, it actually just gets more painful all the time, because what's actually happening that's really causing the most disruption is we're not doing our own work. And then when you finally hit what would be kind of a version of rock bottom, which shows up, we hear about rock bottom when we talk people through and help them through addictions and places that you go for addictions. You'll hear somebody say they had to hit rock bottom before they come back up out of it. And in the twin journey, if you are really here as a twin, that means there is purpose in you taking on this journey in this lifetime, and being part of bringing it to the earth, and bringing the relationship of the divine feminine masculine into perfect pure harmony, and all of that stuff. And that you go and you experience those relationships, and you ask for healing beyond being just in the physical third dimension. You're here to heal the masculine and then the feminine, if you're truly on the twin journey. You're here to bring harmony between the masculine and feminine. You're here to accept each other where the masculine and the feminine is. And by doing our own work, we have the biggest effect on our twin ultimately, because as soon as we clear our own garbage and shit and crap and the rabbit hole we have fallen under, that we may very well literally be blaming on them or other people, when we're willing to go there by ourselves and look inside and say that there's only one reason my twin is not a vibrational match and being present in my life right now, is because I'm not a vibrational match to that relationship being what it's supposed to be yet. I'm not the vibrational match for it. And sometimes this shit sucks. Sucks to think it through that way. Maybe I'm supposed to talk about it again, you guys. I don't know. I haven't been really able to. And then I have been part of different things, like I've told you, and did some fabulous work in gateways. And there's some twin people and healers that I can even talk to you guys about that have helped me. I'd rather do that in a completely different journey or discussion. But what I can say is I've also drawn my own cards, and I drew a set of cards on Valentine's Day, and I did this whole spiritual gateway, and sometimes I go into a gateway for 24 hours. I journey, I do all sorts of things. I have prayer ceremonies. Sometimes I'm with people, sometimes I'm doing it on my own. Sometimes I'm participating in something that's going on a more of a universal level. I'll be part of a group that will do a meditation, and then I'll stay in meditation myself, but I stay in the gateways because I've helped assist in opening them, and I did a meditation about opening them back sometime. I can't remember now. Maybe I didn't make it available to the public. But and I have a journey where you go into your Akashic records, and I have an audio journey. It's about 30 minutes long, and you go into your own Akashic records. I walk you into them. They're free downloads. I can put them up if you guys want them, or I'll send you to them or something. Just give me time to figure that out, because I really have put a lot of this aside. But I can tell you that when you get into that place, it's kind of like the dark night of the soul. You have to meet the dark part of your soul to look at what is causing me separation from everything that's not serving, me in a beautiful, abundant, healthy way, and all of the stuff that goes along in the human journey between men and women and masculine and feminine and what's going on. We're really messed up in a lot of ways, and we're really mad at the masculine right now, and in all honesty, it's not serving us at all. We don't want to stand down in terms of our beliefs and what we're meant to stand in truth of, and to honor the feminine, but we need to show up as feminine to be honored. There's a lot of feminine that are behaving very, very badly on the earth right now. Frankly, it disturbs me as much as the masculine, because I believe that we are in the feminine, and as the feminine, there's a part of us that might be slightly more conscious and know a bit better. And so I would really like to see us clean a lot of that up ourselves. And there's a whole discussions we can have around that, but there are a lot of women that are also not being very nice women, and they're manipulating men. And if all we do is throw anger out into the universe, then please don't be so surprised when the match for that and the anger and all of that shows back up as your reciprocal effect of your own energy, your own vibration, your own story. I'm tired. You can probably tell. I hope I put this video up for you guys, because part of me will go, But I did that set of cards, and I have a picture of them. I couldn't even talk about it. I was so stunned about the cards that I pulled on Valentine's Day. And I did it over time because I was actually a little bit hesitant to pull the next card at one point because it was so beautiful. And I was like, I didn't want to pull a card that was going to potentially have a message that was going to be like one that I didn't want to hear or something. Or that it was going to be the masks or something. It was just, I asked universe to show me the truth about the twins, the gateway to the twins meeting in our hearts and our souls, and what is the higher story if we were to be a vibrational match to it. And so that's how I ask my questions when I read cards, and I spent some time with it. And when I pull them up, if I bring them up and show them to you guys, I'll talk my way through it. I can put up a picture and then talk my way through it, because I know what happened as I unfolded them. I know the order that they came out in. That was a stunning reading, and then I've been having a difficult time. And so I did today. I was like, I'm really wanting to be separate from this journey completely, but I'm not feeling very friendly towards it, and I don't want to be parting in that way in a sense. But I also know that I've really started to go and say, I need to look at all the parts of my life, all parts of my soul, everywhere I'm in pain, to know, because it won't even matter if you were to show up tomorrow. If our souls are in so much pain and we're not even remotely feeling loving and kind and generous towards the masculine, like, really, do we want him to come forward in the middle of all of our crap and our own shit? And trust me, the masculine are in very deep pain on the earth right now, and they need feminine love and compassion. I'm not saying bow down to not standing in your truth. I'm saying stand in your truth by knowing that love attracts love. The vibration of love will bring a match of a vibration. Forgiveness will bring forgiveness. Kindness will bring kindness. So if we want to be mad at the masculine, you go use it in a positive way at least. That's what I'm trying to do myself. I'm trying to use it in a positive way because I'm frankly pissed off about all sorts of stuff that's going on the earth. But I realize that it's because, in part, I actually have some very solid beliefs about humanity and our story, and that I'm an Akashic record reader. So I believe in past lives. I believe in the stories coming forward from other lifetimes. I believe that there's always a bigger story than most of what we're ever being shown. I believe that we do have purpose with other people. I believe we do meet to bring together healing. I do believe we can heal our entire genealogy through our own work. And sometimes we're the ones that decided we would do it, and it's not an easy path. But if you're committed to it, you can at least have kind of a consistent way of staying in service, of trying to always find a better way to think, feel, act, do, and be that serves you and everyone that comes in contact with you in any way, but in a way that's better, healthier, more loving, more kind, more true, more honest, more authentic. And then just understanding that there are dynamics taking place inside of every story. We hear information and we fly into such judgment, and we don't even have a freaking clue what that story really entails. And that was said at 1555. You know, we hear something, we read a Facebook post, we read something at the top of something, and we form all this judgment before we even get into the story. And it's causing all this separation amongst people. And really, honestly, let's just all clean up our own backyards. If every single person made a conscious choice to be nicer this moment in time to the next person that stepped in front of them, no matter who they were, that they chose some level of kindness, and we did it simultaneously on the earth, and we just started making a conscious effort to not getting wrapped up in the specifics of what's going on the earth, especially when you're coming from judgment. And most literally, just be honest, that's mostly where it's coming from. And judgment comes from fear. We're afraid of everything. And I'll tell you what, this has been programming. It's been programmed. And if you are on the twin flame journey, you are here to come above the programming. That I can assure you. And if you did, most of us aren't meeting our twins, is certainly not in these initial stages, because twins coming to earth now means twins will be coming to earth, going forward in a stronger way, and twins will be having kids in a stronger way. If all of us twins have come together in these last 20, 30, 40 years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever it is, there are numbers there. There is a way that you get mass resonances, when you go the something 12, 12, 12 up to ends up to 144,000. People always say that, don't buy into this thing. There's only 144,000 twins on the earth. I don't buy into anything about something like that, because that's right away, that suggests a limit to me. I don't really resonate with that. But what the information that I've really been given was shown is it's like, no, when we hit the mass resonance of 144,000, because it has an exponential experience, it has immediate exponential growth. When we hit 144,000, we opened massive gateways for more twins to come. Twins need to be on earth for peace to completely be on earth, because it's the highest relationship of love. And if you believe in the fifth dimensional earth that can have peace on earth, twins will be a part of that. And twins, there's lots of different ways to be twins on the earth, but the relationship and the way that it's come to me is through love, through intimate love, through deep, deep heart love, through literally thinking that he just is the most beautiful person on earth to you. And it humbles me to look at him, because it's never changed and it's never gone away, no matter what the dynamics were. God put us together. We had all of those experiences. No matter what the end outcome is at this point, it doesn't take away the experiences they had. It doesn't take away the connection. It doesn't take away the telepathy. It doesn't take away all the learning. It doesn't take away the heart, the way they maybe opened their heart at one time. I'm contemplating sharing something, and I think because I'm contemplating it that long, I'm not going to right now, but so today, the question I asked, and I was in quite a lot of pain when I asked it. I was really feeling a lot of emotion, but I am right now. It's happening to me. If you're following me anywhere on Facebook or anything, you'll realize that I'm kind of coming out of the closet about I haven't been feeling well physically for quite a long time. I've struggled with chronic fatigue and pain and all of the stuff, that insomnia that goes along with that. And I've kind of, really hid that in a lot of ways, because for a lot of reasons, and I'm coming out of that now and saying, no, I'm not doing that anymore, and I need to get my health back. And so it's another reason I got a lot more quieter this last year. But I only got really quieter in this community initially because I went full out guns in my coaching business. And frankly, I wore myself out in there because for all, combination of reasons, off of the struggles I was having, building it through, while being in fatigue and all of that. And then going to so many really deep coaching programs. And when you go into deep coaching programs, everything shows up. I started to realize we can create our own version of almost like a spiritual crisis, because we're in such a deep dive version of trying to learn everything, to understand everything, to figure it all out so we can connect. And how do I be who I am in the world? And how do I be authentic? And what am I supposed to teach? And what do I charge? And what kind of lifestyle do I want to live? And who am I meant to be with? And can I have love in my life? And can I do it all? And can I be the person that wears 17 hats in my own business and then be the product, which means be the coach? And what happened in my business, which I wasn't really expecting initially, because I thought I was going to go towards more, kind of upbeat marketing training and stuff like that. And then really what I ended up was, when you go into people's Akashic records, you go into their pain. A lot of it is about their pain. And so a lot of the stories that were coming up and things that were coming up for my clients were places where they've been in pain, quite deep pain. And of course, when all that comes to the surface and you hold space for them and you help them consider looking at it in a way that might be more loving towards them, or forgiving, or help them in some way, or release them from the hold that it has on them, and allowing ourselves to know that we really ultimately get to choose what we want going forward out of something that's been teaching us through a difficult way, and that we would look at how to start to access your own really own personal intuition, so that you go to these questions yourself, and ultimately, in truth, don't need coaches ongoing. You need them for tune-ups, maybe. What I did is I went into both. I went to business coaching. I went to spiritual development coaching. I took more Akashic record courses. I took Akashic records for business. I took probable futures. I started my entire own coaching business. I learned software programs up the yin yang. I had IT support. I was trying to be coaching. I was trying to do live videos. So there's a reason that I stepped away from the twin stuff. But what happened is my heart has never stepped away from it for a single day. And that's the part I had to get really real about, And then when you don't see somebody for that long, and when the entire relationship shifted in terms of visibility to no visibility and not knowing, and there's stories that have happened over the year, and I've asked for answers to come, and something will happen, and I'll ask for, say, is there still something for me to uphold here in terms of the twin, in having that love for him, and then I might get 5 or 6 really clear signs in a matter of 2 days, and I'm like, okay, I'll chill out again. But it's not an easy journey, in that the relationship that you experience, because some people have never even had a good experience with their twins. It's just all been pain. And I just drove by a giant truck. There's with the word pain on it, but spelled with a Y. That has happened more times. Literally, as I'm saying the word pain, this giant truck drives by, and that truck drives by. So there's, it's to address that, talk about it, be willing to talk about our pain, but to realize that we have to really look inside of ourselves for why things aren't happening, and not looking outside of ourselves at other people at all anymore. And I've been working through what really is the dark night of the soul, and I found Trevor Isley, and Trevor Isley in some ways has probably saved my life, because he speaks my language, he speaks the journey, he speaks, so much of what he's talking about is something I can relate to, and I can relate to in my own story, and even more so now because I have worked with people, and I now understand how much pain they really are in. I've been somebody that people have always came to talk to for years, but I wasn't a coach. I didn't have people hire me to work with them for sometimes weeks, months together, where you can really get into some deep stuff and then see the transformation in their personalities and see them come to life and see them get color back in their bodies and their faces and sit up in their chair and stand up for themselves and speak their truth and own their gifts. And I mean, it just floors me, and I get really deeply emotional about it because I feel so honored, and I feel so what is it? I feel so rewarded, maybe, that I might have had anything to do with that. I'm going to get emotional if I go there right now. The set of cards that I pulled out today, though, because what I asked was, what is the absolute truth? I want to try to get the question right, and I didn't write it down, but I'm pretty sure I can probably pull it up fairly. I was like, what is the absolute truth that you want me to know that right now that can let me be at peace with this relationship and move on into joy and happiness and somehow be willing to accept, be there regardless of any outcome? Because some of the people that we are in these experiences with on earth are in their own choices of free will, and they very well may stay in their own situations. Coming to earth together does not guarantee unity. If you've met them and you're already on path and you've had all the experiences to really identify that you're in a relationship that has higher purpose and meaning in some level, and you're really clear about that. And that's something I'm probably, can help people get clear about, because we go in and ask good questions. So much about the questions, and so, but when I asked the universe, I said, just tell me the absolute truth today. What do I need to accept completely? And so that I can find some peace in my own life, and that I can get healthy again, and that I can quit being in so much pain, because I'm in so much physical pain. But I was lying in bed this morning. I'm not sleeping. I'm doing this stuff. I'm listening to this music. I'm doing Hertz music. I have speakers on my body to allow it to try to take, because I find when I do that, I can take some away of the physical pain, and kind of, I do drumming or whatever, and I'll put the speaker right on my body, and I'll feel it like move stuff, because I'm so, I'm in so much physical pain, and I'm getting, frankly, quite grumpy about it. And so I'm also going into a health journey for the next year, and I'm announcing that, and I've been doing it, and I'm stepping into putting CBD oils into my body, and I'm committed to do them, and I'm committed to talk about the fact that, I'm not interested in supporting one industry that doesn't help people to the level of degree that I feel it's far more harmful than helpful, which is pharmaceutical industry. That's a completely different discussion. But I need healing in my body, and I'm tired of the suppression of things that will be helpful to us. As we move into that ascension and dimensional energy shifts, when you ask about what does the fifth dimension mean to you, it's so different, and so many people talk it from so many different aspects. But for me, it's really it's the balance of harmony on the earth is what it is. There's ebb and flow instead of peak and valley. There's ebb and flow. There is peace amongst. There's equality for everyone. There's plenty for everyone. We can live in harmony. We don't have to have wars, which are just wars of separation and profit anyways. And that there is a place to go in the universe that is a higher dimension that the earth is in, that's taking place on the earth. And there might be a very interesting story coming in for me right now. I better turn this off though. So the vibrational energy of I just lost my thoughts. Anyways, I don't want to edit, so you're sorry. But knowing that, or asking the universe, okay, what is it you want me to say, and tell me what I need to do today to bring myself to the best place for my heart, my soul, my healing, my life, my quality of life, my will, my love being in my life, managing loneliness. Do you let somebody else in? What purpose are you aware of that you're having in your relationship? Sorry, I see myself rocking back and forth, you guys. That just helps me sit still in front of the camera and all, to be honest with you, because my back hurts. Yeah. So the very first card, anyways, today, asking, like, just tell me, what is it you want me to know? What is it? Am I meant to continue to pray for this daily? Can I let it go and pray for it monthly, weekly? Can I, can I find it in myself to just completely give it over to trust? Can I trust the cards that I'm going to pull today are going to meet the, give me the answers that I'm truly seeking? And I'll be honest with you guys. I started crying when I was asking the questions because I want to know what they want me to know. And so I think that's why I'm supposed to talk about this with you guys. Because after I pulled those cards on Valentine's Day, I mean, it was just... I'll share that with you, I think. That's for another day for sure. I hope this video isn't too unclear. But then you can just listen to it. You don't have to watch it. This is me bouncing back and forth anyways. So anyways, the first relationship that came out is the unity of the couple, which is what I see. I see yin yang. I see the energy of twin flames as yin yang. When I see myself in the full energetic match, we're literally in a yin yang energetic mix. Like we literally are energetically yin yang. When I work with people's energy fields and when they come into harmony, they'll come to me as yin yang. And so this is the card. And this is the yin yang comes to me because they're literally hugging one another, which is what this yin yang is. The angel hearts, the angel wings are coming up and protecting them. They both have their wings on. They're both in their highest alignment because their wings are present. They're not down, they're up, they're engulfing, they're holding them within. That he is strong. She is comfortable and safe in his arms. Her eyes are closed. When our eyes are closed, that usually means we feel safe with somebody when we're in their arms. They're telling us it's safe. It's safe to give the relationship a chance. And it says work on your partnership. And I really am going to adamantly tell you the partnership that you want to work on right now is the one you have with yourself. That's the partnership you want to work on because it is the story of the Trinity of us that brings these story. It's who is my body, mind, soul? Who am I, body, mind, energy? And if you listen to Trevor Isley, and I highly suggest that if you are really struggling with deep emotional wounds and sadness and grief and despair and potentially life purpose and not even knowing if you want to be on the earth. There's so many people that are so not just tired of what's actually going on the earth. For people that are very sensitive, a lot of us don't want to be here right now because it is so messed up out there. But you know what you have power over is this moment inside of you. I still have the right to feel optimistic no matter what's going on out there. So give your relationship a chance. So it's saying give it a chance. Like allow the universe to let this unfold for you and don't box it as it has to be. It's legitimate because this is happening, or it's not legitimate because this is happening, or it doesn't mean that the healing, the purpose that you've brought, that you've agreed to come together as twins on the earth for, and because I don't know, is that you have to trust that you healing your own self will allow him to heal himself. And so you give yourself a chance. It's really self-love. It's all about self-love. But this yin-yang, this is, and I understand the story. I'm trying to reiterate it to share it with you guys. But the second card that comes up, and if you did watch some of my videos back when I was doing them 30 regular, this is a card that it's had so much impact. It's shown up so many times. But it's very, very meaningful. This is, I actually don't think I ever noticed that these were both feminine angels in here. Or not. Oh, he's very feminine. Where's my glasses? I don't think I ever noticed that before. It looks like two feminine. But the divine, we are bringing the feminine to the masculine, so maybe it is. But the card anyways is worth waiting for. I've pulled this card 100 times. No question. I pulled it I pulled it inside my own readings probably. I don't know. At least 2/3. Well, way over 2/3 of the time. And every reading this card has been it's come to me from day one. And it's divine timing, so it's like we have to be aware of all that divine timing. We have to allow for that. We have to realize that all of this stuff is taking place on Earth. The thing that I've just been consistently talking about, because I haven't stopped talking yet, and it's 35 minutes in, is when you talk about all of that, you have to recognize that there is timing. And if we're in free will and we've made free will choices that aren't serving us and that have caused us to stay longer somewhere when we're supposed to, and then that causes this, a reaction and a consequence, and then maybe if the relationship was feeling something at one time and then it went into distrust, and then there's been separation, which is going to come up here in a second. But it's really just like love is the heart, the story is worth waiting for. Let your heart always believe that the divine love that's inside of this connection is worth waiting for. But you get to choose if you're doing it on a completely physical level and not allowing anyone else in, and or not allowing any happiness or joy in. But it was like, get out of your head and just let timing start to be a factor in all that energy that you're putting towards this. Just, it's worth waiting for. It's love. Whoever shows up to be the ultimate person that's right for us on the earth in this experience right now, we totally get to choose to let somebody else in. You just have to decide what you can live the most with. The biggest challenge for me, and I'm going to be honest with it about right now, is I have literally not wanted to love anybody else since. And even when I think of it now, I can see it. I have just tried to have this conversation and talk to myself out of this 1,000 times. But as soon as I think about it and I'm completely honest with myself, it's like I haven't wanted to love anybody else since I met him. But he's not here, and he's still not here, and he hasn't come forward. And now I don't even know where I know he's here because I know the family's here and everything. I don't know. I don't know that I know what to do right now, but I did agree to pull these cards, and I told myself, if you're going to go through this process and you're going to that deep place and ask the questions and cry when you're asking a question and stuff, ask the universe to give you that truth. I don't want to be told what I want to hear. I want to be told what the story. What's the most important thing for me to know to manage what's happening in my life right now? Because there's so much more happening than just this. All that stuff I just told you about a business, and then helping people and getting inside of people's pain and going into my own physical pain and fully admitting that I'm in physical pain. So the next card that came out, and I got sad right away, but I actually got sad, but then I had this completely this is the part that they're telling you to completely just let it go. Don't look for it out the window, so to speak. Don't look for it to be so present. And so the card that came up, and there's all this longing, and he's holding her hand, but he's leaving, and he's holding his hand over his heart. So he doesn't want to leave her. She doesn't want to let him go. There's angels flying above them. And the card is separation. You're still in separation. Separation is on the horizon. Meaning it's not over yet, I guess. But the love between the people in the card is unquestionable. She is longing for him like that. He is holding his hand, not wanting to leave. See, his hand is over his heart. And see the angels. This relationship is watched over. So those parts, if you allow yourself to believe those parts, and if I allow myself to believe, if nothing else, I was part of this really intense journey of the heart while I came and incarnated on the earth this time, and that that's because I was willing to go deep inside of all of this and look at from a standpoint of allowing myself to accept that there could be a twin journey, and that I could actually literally be this truly connected, in the sense that our souls have this agreement to meet in unconditional love, and then allow it to play out in the third dimension, which basically, with the third dimension and free will, could mean we could mess this up when we get down there. Some people will say every twins will be together. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. Free will is too prevalent on the earth still. If you go into the energetic and vibrational part of the story, you will have a lot better chance of coming to any good resolution in that, because you will fully accept that you are a vibrational match to the separation, or it wouldn't be in separation. And it could be separation from allowing any love in. It could be separation from forgiveness. It could be separation from not allowing ourselves to believe that we could be fully loved in a relationship. It could be separation in that we are going to be in disharmony with our twin this entire lifetime, because we're going to be mad at them the whole time or whatever. I feel like I need to move on. So anyways, the card that I pulled out, I did pull 3 cards. That's what I do. And then I always flip the card. I guess you would consider this the clarifying card, because I do the 3 cards and then I take this from the other side of the deck. And what came up in this one, and I was crying at this point, especially when I saw the separation card, and then the card that came off is trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith. And this is my reading, you guys. Question was deep inside of myself. I'm sharing it with you because I do believe that there's so much of us that are parallel in what's happening to us simultaneously, that the cards can tell you something also. But this was my reading, which is why I got so emotional about it. The situation you are calling for is to have faith. I don't fully get the picture in this one. I can't quite tell what he has in his hand. And then the angel has arrows. But again, it's like, it looks like he's getting ready to leave or something. And she has to have faith and trust that he's coming back. She's leaning into him. Like he's reassuring her. And the angels are watching over everything. And so I sat with that for quite a while. I went through my own, kind of thoughts about it, and because I was the one asking that question, I really went inside of what these cards. I'm kind of reading them to you through me, but also for you to get some understanding from them also. But and then probably a while had gone by, maybe half an hour or more. And then I was like, do I flip that one last card? Do I flip the deck over today? Because sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. And I allow the guidance to come forth. And I got, yes, there's another message that will round all of this out for you. And it came up religious factors. And I remember being a little bit frustrated with this because I felt like, oh my God, we've been through this enough. Like, really? And what they pointed out to me very, very quickly, the card says your love life is influenced by religious upbringing and spiritual path. And very clearly, because I had frustration, so spirit kicked in right away. and said what we're saying to you here, what we want you to understand is your upbringing is your belief system. So what's influencing you is your belief system. And if you believe you should stay in a marriage forever, regardless of how unhappy you are, that's a belief system that can drive an entire lifetime, a story in a lifetime. So it's about the belief system. It's influenced by your religious path. If you think it's wrong to leave your marriage because the church says so, and you're in a very unhealthy relationship and it's not serving your soul at all and it should have long been over, you're going to stay because of your belief systems. And we could, in this lifetime, if we don't step up into our truth, into a higher place for some of this stuff, we will leave this lifetime with that as our story. And there's no judgment in it. It's just that if you do believe that you come back to really work through all of this stuff, you do know that what you don't kind of make it through in this lifetime, there will be a lifetime where you'll need to come back and work through that story still. And if you're really conscious on the earth right now, some people are like, no, I want to get over it. I want to get through this in this lifetime. I don't want to come back and friggin' be separated from my twin again. I don't want to come back and be sick again. I don't want to come back and, be in a long-term relationship that's not based in love at all. Like, oh my God, how hard is that on a soul? I've so found it easier to be alone than lonely in a relationship. And I can get quite strong discussion around that. But I'm very aware when I'm at the place where I know I'm lonely, but it's still easier on me than being lonely inside of a relationship. That just takes my soul away, and I'm not good at things like that. Longer term, I would leave a relationship that's taking the soul, that's not taking the soul away from me. That I know that my soul just is not in a place that it's meant to be. I can make decisions about that. I always have been able to. I'm not saying they've all been right, but I can make them. So what it says on this card, though, they want me to finish with this so you guys get this part, because there's what it said, your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and your spiritual path. And the part about the spiritual path, and they said it very clear to me, it was like, Diane, what we're telling you is that the spiritual path would be you choosing to meet your twin in this lifetime. You didn't come here without that already decided. If we do that, we take full responsibility that the only reason that we even are having this experience is because we chose it before we got here. How we behave in it once we get here is totally a completely different thing. And I'm 51 years old when I meet my twin. And so I have a lot of life experiences coming up to that point. And I actually believed right from when I was 20 years old that that's about when I was going to meet him. And I knew there was going to be something that happened to my life and would change my heart drastically around when I turned 50. And I was told it when I was younger. And I remember at some point thinking, I wish that I would never have been told that, because it planted a seed in my head. But there was a part of me that was just like, yeah, but I know it's true. I know I'm going to walk in a room one day and I'm going to be quite far into my life when it happens. And I'm going to walk into a room and I am going to look up and I will know at that moment in time. I will know everything that I waited for up until that moment. So I haven't just been waiting since I met him when I turned 51. But if I make it literally, physically about him and he chooses not to ever make any changes, that actually the relationship we both vibrationally never become a match because of both of our choices. But somebody can choose to be part of that and say, if you walked into my house today, that's it. I'm 100% in. I've been in for so long already, it wouldn't matter. I mean, I'm already in. I've been in since I looked up and had that moment. Plus 30 years ahead of it, in the sense that I always knew that there was somebody that was just going to do that to me. And I would know it, and I would know it. And then we both had the same experience. And then we met again. And then we developed a friendship. And then we realized how much of that story we had both been expecting and how it hit both of us. We used to be able to have those beautiful conversations. So that is a 50-minute video for somebody who hasn't done a video for a long time. But the spiritual path is they wanted me to know that this is part of my chosen path. So quit being so friggin' angsty about it. That might be how I get to finally settle into it. It's just recognize that, totally own the fact that it wouldn't be happening if I didn't agree to it. And then, there's a part of me that is deeply sad and lonely as I get because of the longing is really so true. And it's so real. And that part that I've shared with you about, I've never wanted to love anybody else since. I never had anybody that walked in front of me and did that to me. Before, since. I mean, I've had my head turned lots. But it wasn't that. It was just like... And it was immediate, and it was for both of us. Maybe he's forgotten that part, but I'll sure as hell have not. So understand that this is a choice. Twins don't come here by happenstance. We don't agree to even look up into this. What does a twin even mean? We don't end up on a journey. We don't seek help. We don't try to find the highest place to be in a relationship. We don't look for the deeper meaning if we hadn't chose some of this. And I mean, we chose to have the experience, the agreement to meet. But what happens after that literally is free will. And it's free will when we meet. And it's free will where were we when we finally met? Where was I in my life when that happened in the room? And where was them in their life? I say he because mine's a he. But I mean generically to whoever you are. Male, male, female, female, male, female. Everybody has a loving. If you are here on a twin journey, there's nothing to say we're all friggin' heterosexual by any means. I'll tell you that. I don't believe that for 1 second. It's about the body of love that takes place inside of a harmonic twin yin yang journey. And because we were so far off the mark about having the earth in a good place in the last the way, things got so messed up, especially in the last 50 years, twins are needed on the earth so we can actually have this discussions. We seek love at a higher level often. We're willing to understand that there is love that can be that true in a sense that there's a love on the earth that can take our breath away. Somebody on the earth can take our breath away. And in some ways, that's really fucking beautiful. There, 52 minutes to drop an F-bomb. I think that's actually good for me. Anyways, I don't know how many of you guys will watch this. It's been so long. I don't even know what to title the video. I am going to put it up. So God bless. If you need help in your journey, ask. Just find people that can help you get clear through being accountable and being willing to look at your own self. If we go out into the world of readers and psychics and intuitives and we just want them all to tell us all third dimensional stuff, then you might not even be in a twin relationship, and certainly you're not in your highest place in it if that's how you're asking. God bless you, beautiful goddesses and everybody that comes to this journey and potentially listens to this or goes looking for any of this. And God bless our souls. And the music that's been coming to me lately about the twins has just been unbelievable. And the one that I can tell you that really, it just about dropped me to my knees because about 3 things happened simultaneously. I had them written on a board one day, and I might be able to go back and review what that said because it was all so simultaneous. In a matter of seconds, like boom, 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 visually, music, all this stuff happened simultaneously. And it was Jason Mraz, I Won't Give Up on You. And that is absolutely a true twin song to me. But what they want us to do is they also want us to look at ourselves in the mirror when we're having that, when we're listening to that music. Because who we need to heal is ourselves, not anyone else. There's nobody else's journey. We're participants in other people's journey, but we're on our own. And it really is up to us to look inside of ourselves and saying, you know, what am I bringing to the universe? Well, who am I in it? How much time am I spending in worry and doubt and aggravation and distrust and, you know, impatience and blame versus, you know, am I at least asking myself questions that allow me to think in the terms of being accountable and loving and what's my role and how can I be of assistance and who can I be of service to and how can I be in a relationship of love here that brings light to the earth instead of I'm just throwing blame and shame at it all the time. Because there's a lot of that going on and they really want us to rise up out of that. Especially if you are genuinely on a twin journey. You know, it is the part that we have to bring the light to the darkness. That's all there is to it. So, God bless you, beautiful souls. 55:55, right when I'm wrapping up. And 15:55, there was something there. So, if you guys do want me to do more videos, just let me know. You know, I've been really resisting coming back and talking about this, but maybe I'm supposed to. Maybe I'm supposed to. God bless each and every one of you. Diane Lang. How do I turn it off?